Good morning, everyone. Rise and shine. It is time to get up, and decide I'm going to live. Woohoo! Why am I going to live? I've been given another day. Yep, I've been given another day. And if you've been following my platform for a while, you know I teach that a new day is an opportunity to begin again. And so here's the deal. I don't care how bad yesterday was. I don't care how bad the weekend was. I don't care how bad last month and last year was. You got to tell yourself, I'm coming for all that belongs to me. Okay. I am going to crush it today. I'm going to excel at a level that's going to shock my boss. It's going to shock my kids. It's going to shock my friends. Absolutely unstoppable. That's what that needs to become your mantra. I am absolutely unstoppable. I'm Coach Ricardo Miller, and if you're watching us for the very first time, you need to subscribe to this channel because it's all about living life effectively. I want to help you win. Now, here's the deal. A lot of us have lived a long time, and we've gotten our share of losses. At some point, you got to tell yourself, listen, man, I'm tired of being last in the line, okay? I'm tired. The truth is, someone is going to win in the midst of a pandemic. Why not me? Why not me? This morning, I'm joined with Miss Lula Ellis, and let me tell you something. This woman is a gifted communicator. She knows how to have fun. She knows how to express herself. And today, we're joining forces because she has a platform, and we're going to talk about something on our journey to living life effectively. Now, Miss Lula, welcome to Effective Living.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm already excited. You done hype me up. So I'm pumped up right now. We ready?
Well, listen, let's do this. I've been following your platform for a while, and I know you have, you have your position. You love life. You enjoy showing up on a daily basis and just giving your best self to humanity. Can you tell our viewing audience a little bit about yourself?
Awesome. Yes. I'm actually originally from Mississippi,
Yeah.
a small town called Greenwood, Mississippi. I'm a little country girl.
Come
Um,
on now.
and so that's where I was born and raised. I actually received a BA in sociology right out of college. Started working with children. In the community, children that had, like problems in schools, in the schools. So I was pretty much like their mediator. And so what I did is I brought the community in the schools, and that played a big part in their lives, just bringing all of them together. Went from there, started doing a little bit with the state, working as a caseworker, a case manager for the state of Mississippi. And so I really just enjoy working with the children, moving from that, got married, to sum it all up in 2000 and, moved to Miami for a brief second. I
Uh-huh.
really enjoyed Miami, but, being a little country girl, doing. So we moved to Texas. We moved to Texas. Unfortunately, we ended up in a divorce. But
Yeah.
it's okay.
Yeah.
But one of the things I've learned is that I went through a lot, as far as trauma and a lot of things as a youth. However, that didn't stop me. And
Yeah.
one of the things that I can tell you is that when it's in you, you're going to keep going.
Come on. Mm. Yep.
And so when it's in you, you just keep going. You keep, you have to have positivity around you to keep you motivated, to keep you pushing. And so
Yeah.
it just in me to win. I
Come
don't
on
know.
now.
It's just
Yeah.
in me to win. I'm sorry, y'all. It's just
Yeah.
in me to win. And so went from there, in Texas. Here I am working for the state of Texas, with, needy families.
Yeah.
And so I was a case manager here. Moved from there to start back with the children. I always end back up with the little
Yeah.
ones.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm very gifted with all types of children. And most of the, my giftings are with children with behavior problems or, disabilities. So I was an inclusion teacher for, a while. And so even being sometimes even with the school district, you don't know a whole lot about,
Yeah.
the children with disabilities. And, a lot of times, even with their behavior, I believe that it stemmed from somewhere.
Yep.
So I
Yep.
went to, Dallas Baptist. university, got an MA in, professional development, and just really learned a lot about it. Counseling and education was the concentrations. So
Yeah.
I learned a lot about uh, disability, different, children with hearing aids, and you'll be surprised of the things that you don't really know
Yeah.
in depth of, when you're in the classrooms with the children. So by me learning a lot of that, it was just a blessing. So I'm gonna sum this all up now. Guess what, y'all? I'm at the bank, and that's a total. It's totally different. But let me say y'all something. Because I am a believer, I believe that my steps are ordered, and so it's just funny. I went from working with the children with behavior problems, to the working with needy families, and here I am with the bank. So it's a balance right there because you got your finance, you got all kind of things, community, you got all of that some in one lady, me.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
anyway,
Yeah.
sum it up a little bit. That's
I
sum it up a little bit.
I like it. I like it. I like it. Now, you said a number of things. I want to dive into a few of those. Well,
Okay.
when I in elementary school, I was in special ed for a while, and they had no clue how to educate me. I got labeled, I got laughed at, I got I'm still to this day still learning how to love me. Come on.
Oh wow, okay,
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, and so now at this particular age in my life, I've come to accept, people are different, and
Absolutely,
you gotta know that not because someone is different mean it's bad.
absolutely,
It's just not what you're accustomed to. Well, you mentioned that you work with kids with trouble kids and families. I was a troubled kid. Man, let me tell you something. I was a mess. Okay, I frustrated my mama so much. Oh my goodness. Oh
Kimberly.
my goodness. I frustrated my mama. So I grew up in the Bahamas, and a
Okay.
lot of people in the Bahamas are watching this platform, watching us this morning. If you're watching from the Bahamas, please go ahead and check in. As a matter of fact, no matter where you're watching from, let us know where you're watching from. So put a comment in the comment section and let us know where you're watching. But I know some amazing, incredible people that I've met over the years from Mississippi, man. Mississippi, come on, yeah. Mississippi, good place. I love Mississippi. I've met some really, really good people from Mississippi, especially people coming from Mississippi to Texas. Is like, you know what? They're like, okay, Texas is where we're gonna do this thing.
That's
And
it.
so, yeah. See, people already checking in saying Bahamas is in the house watching us this morning. But let's dive in. I want to talk this morning a little bit about family. Effective living. I'm of the belief that there are 5 areas. If you work them well, you'll live life effectively. And what are those? It's faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. I think it's
Awesome.
important that you make sure that your faith is solid, your family is solid. I believe it's critical that you take care of your finance. I believe it's super, super important. Somebody said Mississippi girl is in the house. Just listen, somebody said Mississippi is in the house. Come on now, Miss Justin.
Awesome.
I told you, Lula, some Mississippi people, good people.
Okay.
And so I'm of the belief that you have to look at fitness, you have to look at finances, you have to look at fun even. There are a lot of people who don't understand the importance of building in the need to enjoy the journey. If you're going to be
Absolutely.
here for 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, you might as well enjoy the ride. And so today, I wanted to talk to you about the role of family in the journey.
Absolutely.
I mean, the question is, do I really need family? And there are some people who I know you must have seen it, probably even experienced to some degree. Boy, family could be something else. And so family can challenge you and make you really wonder, do I really need family? Or should I go at it alone? In your view, how important is family first and foremost? Let's just start there.
Okay. Awesome. Ricardo, is that all right to call you Ricardo?
Yep.
Miller. Okay.
Yep.
One of the things, family is very, very important. But one of the things that we have to understand is that who is my family? Okay. And one of the things that I think a lot of times what we try to do is we try to make, because we're biological, connected, biologically connected, that we have to be family. I have learned that, my family is my community. My family is my church. One of the things that has been a big, big part in my life, because I grew up without a mother and father. My mother died when I was 9. I never knew my father, so I had to pretty much depend on what was next, and so one of the biggest things was my church. So it's very important that you find you don't. I mean, it's that was for me.
Yeah,
So
right.
my family was my church. My family was my community, and I'm like, what has happened to that? Because even, my neighbors was my family, and so what I'm saying is that, we don't, we're so hard on ourselves because we want our biological family to be just a part of what we're doing. But a lot of times, because of trauma and because of a lot of things that we've gone through, as a family, it's hard for everybody to bounce back. And so we kind of bounce back on different levels. So it's very important because of community, because of love, because of unity, because of fun, like you were saying, you want to share your, congratulations. You want to you share all of, everything that's going on in your life. You want to share that with someone. So family is very, very important.
I totally agree with you. Family is very important. There are some people, however, they don't they've not accepted the fact that you could have family that's not biological family. They're just not, they're not blood. But the reality of it is, you could have met someone along life's way who, may not be a blood sister, but has become closer to you than a blood sister. Or, what I'm saying? Someone you met in college, someone you went to high school with, and you became lifelong friends, just like that of family. How important is it for us to get to that point where we start to embrace the reality? You know what? Some of us may not be born with the people that we desire to be, what they should be in our lives, but that still should not stop us from embracing the fact that we can create a community that actually becomes our family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And
Now,
that's,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead. I'm listening.
No, so when we think about that, there are people who will be watching us today, and they, you know what? How my view of family, my family has done me so wrong. I don't want to deal with none of my family ever again. And there are some people who are literally doing it alone. They're living life alone. And it's because they think family only in that one sense of the word. And so now they're deciding to just go at life alone, when the truth is, we're social creatures. We were not created to live our best life by ourselves. And I'm not talking about just in the immediate house. I'm talking about having community, like you mentioned just now, church family. There are some people who find social club groups like Toastmasters. There's Rotary Club family. There's fitness family. People who you work out with. There are people who you work with them for so long that the person in the next cubicle, they're closer to you than the person you were raised with in the same house. What's your view on that?
Absolutely. You know what? One of the things that I have learned is that, and I'm going from a biblical perspective. The Bible says it's not good for man to be alone.
Yep.
And a lot of times we thinking that we got to have a husband.
Right.
We have a wife. We got to have somebody. But I just believe that God created us, like when he created Adam, he even had animals before he had Eve. But what I'm saying is that it was, he had some type of, somebody in his corner, somebody, that was belonging, but it's always good to know that you belong to someone. I want to encourage, those that may be listening today. You want to really kind of think within yourself and know that, your family does not have to always be your biological family. You have to most definitely, come out of your comfort zone. I have learned to, just fellowship with other people, even at the grocery store. You just never know who you're going to meet. But one of the things you have to do, you got to show yourself friendly now.
Come on.
it's got to start with you.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, what I've learned too is that because I was kind of closed in, at one point. And the reason why I was closed in at that point is because of what I had gone through, and what my self-esteem was kind of low, at the point where I didn't really want anyone around me. And it's not that I didn't desire these things, but it was just that I felt like I had to have a family, a biological family,
Yep.
to say that I got a family.
Yep.
But as you grow older, do know that your family can be your neighbor.
Yep.
Your
Yep.
family can be, like you were saying, at your job. I meet a lot of people, and I'm gonna tell you something. I have here I am. I have a radio family.
Yep. Yep.
And now I got you as my family.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
You're part of it now,
Yep.
and so one of the things about me is that when I meet you, I'm not going to, I'm not the type to bug people or anything like that. But when you have the love of God on the inside of you, Jesus was able to walk everywhere. And connect with people. It doesn't matter who you are and what you did and how you did it. God, he was able to connect with you. He was able to, it didn't matter. He just loved you. And so I believe that a lot of times it's, we have this label that, in order for you to be my family, you have to be, it has to be biological. It does not have to be biological. And I'm here to tell you, your teacher, the educators can be your family.
Yep.
Because, that's about communicating.
Yep.
That alone is communication. You got to communicate with them because of your children. You may see them on occasion. You drop them off. Whether you know it or not, that's a part of family. I'm sorry.
Yep.
It's very important that you embrace your environment, embrace those that that you come in contact with.
Lula, the people are watching today, and they've had so many different types of struggles when it comes to family. Somebody said in the comment section, I would like for us to talk about this in a minute as well, and they talked about church family hurt. Church family hurt is one of the hardest to overcome. This leads to isolation as well. Isolation. So now the reality of it is, there are all kinds of family hurts. There are all kinds of family hurt. And I don't know if I even want to say it's family hurt as much as it's people hurt. And there's a statement that says hurting people hurt people. And the truth is, I can't believe my brother did that to me. I can't believe my sister did that to me. Or somebody might say, my wife did that to me. My husband, my mama did this to me. Oh, my daddy did this to me. And so we get hurt, coming from not so much the whole term of, that's my family. But if you live long enough, someone at school is going to do something wrong to you. If you live long enough, someone at work could do something wrong to you. If you live long enough and you join a community at church, someone at church can do something wrong with you. And yes, it is so disappointing to believe, oh my goodness, I thought you was my brother. But guess what? Brothers make mistakes. Church people make mistakes. And you know what? And here's the deal. Let's go beyond mistake. Because if it's a repeated problem, we could say some family got some bad people in it. Some churches got some bad people in it. You know what I'm saying? Some jobs got some bad people in it. And so, Lola, what's your view on this whole term of church hurt? Because there are some people who are like, man, I ain't going back to no church. I ain't trusting no church people because you know what? I joined the choir. I joined the usher. I was a part of the children's ministry team. And oh my goodness, I was hurt. And Ricardo, you and your guests, y'all don't know my issue. And y'all can't say nothing to me because I'm hurt. But the Bible says, guard your heart with all diligence. It tells us that, listen, man, if we're going to guard our heart, because you know why? Because in this world, there are some people who are going to try to come and infect that heart. They're going to try to damage that heart. And you're going to be the one that ends up losing more than anybody else if you allow those people to affect you on the inside. So Lula, what's your view on church hurt and people doing you wrong and calling themselves family?
You know what? And I have to go from, from a biblical perspective. The Bible say we wrestle not against flesh and blood,
Yeah.
but against principalities and wickedness in high places. What I mean by that is this: I cannot, look at the individual itself. One of the things is that, the enemy will try to use anybody and
Yep.
anything to distract you from your purpose.
Yep.
And I also, as you get older, you'll find out that self love is the best love that you could ever,
Wow.
give yourself. And
Yep.
so once you find that out, it's not about the church, it's not about people, it's not about
Yep.
that. But
Yep.
you most definitely have to do what you got to do for yourself.
Yep.
And a lot of times in the church, we don't want to, they make it seem as though, if you go from this place to that place to that place, no, babe, I'm trying to survive.
Yep.
Have
Yep.
you ever been in a place where you're just trying to survive? And so I'm telling you right now is that, just because they have titles, just because
Yeah.
they go to a church, that does not mean they don't have issues. Does
Come on.
not mean
Ooh.
they're going through trauma.
Yeah.
Does not mean that they're not, ministering through their hurts and their wounds.
Right.
And so you have to be very careful to not look at, the individual themselves, because, a lot of people are ministering from their eyesight,
Yeah.
from their view and from, what they believe. And
Yeah.
so what you have to do is get to know God for yourself.
Yeah.
I tell you, when you have a relationship with Him, and so, but it's a process, you guys,
Yeah.
because a lot of times when we're broken and a lot of things are going on within ourselves, we kind of we don't look at things from a broader perspective. We just kind of come a little narrow way, and we just look at the individual or the thing itself, but it's not that. Let me tell you something. I used to say that too. At church hurt, but I'm a little older now.
Yeah.
I've gotten a little closer to God, and
Yeah.
I've got a relationship with glory with God, and not man. I've
Yeah.
got a relationship with God and not church.
Yeah. Look.
And so,
Look.
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, once I realized that, I can most definitely have a relationship with God in such a way that no matter what I was tell you, I just love God. I'm going to tell you something. He loves me when I do wrong. He loves me, when I may not go the way I've made wrong decisions, but he yet still loves me. He
Yeah.
loves me in spite of that. So when I start focusing on that, of course we can't get around life itself and people that try to bring things to you. But what you're going to have to do is silence the noise.
Yep. Yep.
You're going to have to, sometimes you just have to push away. You have to go by yourself, and you
Yep.
most definitely have to heal within.
Wow. Heal within, going by yourself. Both are very difficult, Lula. A lot of people, they don't know. Listen, my mama used to say, you can't be left at home alone. I used to be like, what you mean you can't be left at home? In other words, you're home. It's home. So I'd be like, they left me. I'm left. No. You're home. You can't be left at home. You're home, right? And it's really what it was it was trying to teach us an acceptance.
Absolutely.
If you're home, you should be okay. Well, here's the deal. Some people don't know how to be home alone. Some people don't know how not to have a bunch of people around them. It's because they have not done the work to make sure that they are good in and of themselves. Right, Lula? So let's talk to the person who's I get it. I get what you say. I love the Lord. I love God as well. But man, I've been stung. I've been bitten. I didn't see this coming. And the higher level of maturity would say, yeah, it's a spiritual warfare and it's a battle. But let's talk to the person who repeatedly make the same mistake, though. Because my whole thing is at this particular age in my life, I need to be able to have some understanding that here's the deal. First and foremost, I should be learning from other people's experience so I don't have to fall in the same pit. But apparently, some of us don't learn from other people's experience well, and we need our own experience, right? And so my mama said, this is what my mother told me. Hey, listen, the first time, shame on you. Second time, shame on me. The third time, what's wrong with you, boy? Fourth time and fifth time, are you examining yourself and are you literally going in? Now, let's talk about that in relations to church hurt, job hurt, career hurt, community hurt, family hurt. The reality of it is, how important is it for us to study the patterns that's around us to eliminate the chances of this behavior being a continual one?
Absolutely. It is very important that, because a lot of us go through cycles. And so what you have to understand is that, and that's one thing I will do. I will go through cycles every year. The beginning of the year, here come another cycle. And so what I want to let you know is that, first and foremost, I want you to be able to say, you know what, here I go again.
Yep.
I want you to be able to face it that, you know what, I've gone through this. I may go through it again, but at the end of the day, don't stop. Don't quit. What you want to do also is and I know I can only speak from my personal experience is that when I started seeing my cycles and everything, I actually went through counseling. I went through counseling. From counseling, I started starting self health. Working on myself, as far as walking, eating right, and just a lot of things that I started doing within myself. And so, one of the things I want you to face the fact that it happened. I want you to just acknowledge the fact that it happened, and I want you to know that we all have come short. We all have issues. We all have things that we, even now, some things that I have gone through, and I'm like, oh my God, I keep doing this. What's going on? Some of the things that I've learned in my life is a generational thing. It's things that I have to find out what's really going on in my generation. What's this pattern? But just to bring it down to earth, just say to yourself that what, no matter what, life is what it is. It may throw a ball. It may throw something. I have to face the fact. I tell people, acknowledge that you're angry.
Yeah, come on.
Acknowledge that, what, I didn't like this. I don't like how I feel. But one of the things I've learned, Ricardo, is this. When I got sick and tired of being sick and tired of myself, change came then.
Yeah.
And I didn't. No one had to tell me. I didn't go to anyone and say, "Oh, I need change." I didn't go to anyone and say, "Oh, pray for me." At that point, when I got tired of myself, I'm keep going into this same circle over and over and over again. And so I said to myself, you know what? I'm at a point in my life. Let me say this. I'm at a point in my life. I'm not making an excuse for your, faults and what you do but let me tell you something. This right here, we are not perfect. I'm sorry, we're not perfect. What you have to do is acknowledge the fact that I did this. I don't like the way it feels. I don't like the outcome of it. But one of the things you have to face it first. Face it. And then say, you know what? I'm tired. Once you're gonna continue to do it until you get tired. I'm just gonna say it. I'm just gonna tell you, you're gonna continue to do. It's going to continue until you get tired of it. Affecting you, and you see how it affects people around you. And so, one of the things that I had to, I'm serious. Like once I said, you know what? I'm just tired. I ain't have to tell nobody, I'm what I'm gonna do. I just started doing what I knew that I needed to do to get there. So
I love that. Ladies and gentlemen, Lula Ellis is joining me this morning here on Effective Living, and we're talking about, is family important? Do I need a family? And there are people in this day and hour. There are more people living in isolation and in these just dark spaces of their journey, because they have chosen not to deal with people anymore, including family, because of how they've been dealt. And so they've become, so centered on, it's just me, myself, and I, when the world is filled with incredible people. And I heard Lula said earlier, you got to be friendly. You have to decide, you know what? I'm going to be friends with my neighbor. I'm going to be friends with the people at the grocery store, the cleaners, the gas station, the store. I mean, listen, church. And you say, well, someone's done me wrong, or a series of people have done me wrong. You got to get to the point where you say, I'm tired. And then maybe, as she just mentioned, get help. Get help. Someone is assigned to help you. You all know I talk about that inside my book. if you hadn't gotten the book, listen, you say, hey, Ricardo, life's not been working out for me. I need help. Go get the book. Okay, the book is going to help you because it's all about learning how to live life effectively. That's really what it's all about. So here's the deal. You go get help. I heard Lula mention, hey, go exercise, start eating right, start discovering what is it that I need to know about me that will help me to get better at what I'm supposed to be about. And one of the things you have to be about is understanding this world, this life we live is best lived in community. It's best lived among family. Lola, what, in your view, give us a few reasons why you think family is needed. I mean, there are people watching us today who may have cut off all sense of family. In your view, give us a few of them so people can walk away with this stuff and say, you know what, I need to try this again because these are some good points.
One of the things is to be a sense of belonging.
Yeah.
You know, I tell anybody, you know, it's always good to belong to someone, a group. And, you know, what you have to understand is that, you know, your definition may not be my definition. Like I said, you know, when you have a sense of belonging, you know, it's just, you know, especially like myself, I, you know, grew up without my mother, my father. You know, a lot of people deal with rejection. So, you know, when you have a sense of belonging, it brings about strength. That's my second thing. You know, it brings about strength. You know, having a support team, also having a support team when, you know, when you, even with those that have children, you know, having a support team is always a great thing because, you know what, you know, there may be a time where you may not be able to do some things because of health. There may finances because of some things that, you know, that you may struggle with. And so it's always good to have that support team, you know, whether your support team does not necessarily have to be your biological family again. Your support team can be, you know, like my son, I had him. When I got a divorce, I had him in the Big Brother, Big Sister. I don't know if y'all, you know, Big Brother, Big Sister program. And so that was an intervention for him. That was something that, you know, that I brought into my house or into my environment to help me with my son. So there are resources out there that are available for you. And so I want you to know that if you don't, let me tell you something. When you have support, when you have love, when you have a sense of belonging and fellowship, when you have those things, you can, let me tell you something, I have different types of friends and people that I go to for different things. And when I say that I believe the reason why I'm happy and living a great life right now is because I have that community around me and they play different roles in my life. And one of the things, I don't stop. If I feel like somebody hurt me or somebody, you know what? I have the choice to move around. I have the choice, but don't isolate yourself. Let me tell you something. Isolation is where the enemy will play with your mind when you are by yourself. We need each other. And especially during this time, you know, we really need each other. You know, there are a lot of people that are grieving. I lost a best friend during this pandemic. And so I need somebody that can help me, you know, when I want to, you know, talk and cry out to somebody. And, you know, then I may need somebody that, you know, can go for a walk with me. You know, we need that person to push us. You know, sometimes we don't feel like moving. Sometimes we don't feel like getting out of bed. We need that person that can, you know, either call us or say, Lula, what you doing? Or, you know, and it's always a great feeling to have some support in every area. And you can have that. And it does not necessarily have to be your biological family. Don't walk this walk alone. I'm going to tell you something. When you have support, you know, like I said, if you can't find it at your church, find it at your school. There are a lot of resources out there, nonprofits. There are a lot of nonprofits. I have a nonprofit myself. There's a lot of nonprofits. There's a lot of prayer rooms. There's a lot of people that are waiting and they want to help you. You're going to have to determine which one, you know, because it's not for everybody. Everything is not for everybody. You know what? You have to find what your niche is. But what I want you to know is that it's very important to come together with somebody.
Wow, that is so good. And there's a group for you. And now it may take some work. It may take some work. You have to get out of the house. Well, I don't want to get out of the house. Well, you ain't gonna have a community if you don't. You're not gonna have a healthy community if you don't get out of the house. Well, I don't want to go to the gym. I don't want to talk to no one. Then stay stuck. Okay. Because here's the deal. The reality of it is there's a community out there that will love you. There's a community out there that will challenge you. There's a community out there that will grow with you. But you've got to do what Lola just mentioned. You got to decide, hey, listen, I'm going to go find my crew. That may be a prayer group. That may be a fitness group. That may be a community service group. That may be some nonprofit group, special initiative. At the end of the day, you have to tell yourself, you know what? I'm going to make it my life's mission to live my life to the fullest. And one of the things you have to do is understand the role of family, understand the role of community, understand the role of people. Okay, if you want to live life effectively, you're going to need people. Now, here's what I've discovered. The more people you need is in direct proportion to your vision. So if you say, listen, God's called me to go global, I tell people I can move to 10 different locations right now, pack up today and call 10, Jamaica, Canada, Chicago, New York, LA, because I've created community. I've created family. I can move back to the Bahamas today. Okay? Because I've created family, I've created community, and you got to get to that point where you start telling yourself there are too many people in the world for me not to have friends. Come on. It's too many people in this world for me not to have family. I'm going to create my family. You know, there's this old saying that says it takes a village to raise a child. I think it takes a village to live life effectively.
Absolutely.
Okay, now here's the interesting thing about it is you can create your village now. You can have it your way. That's the Burger King.
You know what?
Have it your way. You can take the time to say, you know what? I need a therapist in the family. Come on, I need a doctor in the family. I need a teacher. I need a minister. And you start building your community to make sure your Rolodex supports who you are and where you're going. Now, Lola, when we start looking at life and the lessons you have learned, what are some of the more important family life lessons that you've identified that, you know, I did not have mom, I did not have dad growing up, but I've learned some life lessons about family? Share some of them with us, please.
Absolutely. The key thing is that, again, I had to recognize that family is important. And then I had to understand that my family doesn't necessarily have to be biological. You know, I had to understand that, you know what, how important it is to have someone in your life, to talk to on different levels. You don't have to necessarily have that one person that has everything. You know, that's why you have the church. That's why you have, one of the things, again, like I said, when I learned how valuable it is to, not pull on one person or put on one, like the church all the time. And the fact that I can, get out there and socialize. One of the things I've learned also is that as a believer, a lot of us are, I was very antisocial. It has to be centered around church and church folks only. The devil is a liar. When I learned that because if you just center yourself just around church folks, at the end of the day, if something happen, it's going to break you. Yeah. But I'm gonna tell you something. That's why you got to get out. And actually, when I became a poet, I actually started writing poems. Someone told me, you're gonna be doing poems, and I didn't believe them. I'm like, so I started writing, and I'm here to tell you, when I started writing and getting out of being who I am as a woman of God, and start, doing poetry, and I started meeting people. Oh, I'm telling you, that's when my whole everything started branching out. I got happier than I've ever been. Going to different venues, meeting all types of people, meeting all types of groups. So if I had to learn that my gift, as a woman of God, is not just being in the church, but being in the community. Oh my God, if I knew, what I know now, oh my God, I promise you, I am living my best life. Why? Because I understand that, you know what? My community is my family. I understand that, you know what? My, socializations, all of my things, the things that I do, again, in my community, in my church, in my environment, and even in my home, it depends on me. And I know that, you know what? If this don't work for me, I know how to walk away.
Yep.
Some
Come on.
people use the word and say, no, this is not going to work for me. It's okay. Nothing against you, nothing against, what you're doing, but this ain't working for me. What we have to learn to do is say, you know what? This church is not for me. I'm sorry. Some people are saying that in places that it's just not for you, and it's okay. Don't be stuck in a place that is not, pushing you forward. You're not benefiting from it. It's nothing against them. It's nothing against your environment. But at the end of the day, you're going to have to survive for yourself. So if I had learned a lot of those things when I, back in the day, I promise you, that's okay. I learned it. I'm excited about it. And I'm just ready to move on, in this life free.
Come on. Free. I love it. You say, this ain't got nothing to do with you. It's just that this ain't gonna work for me.
It ain't working for me. And so once I learned that, it's not working for me, because you'll have people tell you, that's why I say, when you get a relationship with God for yourself, when you understand that it's okay to say no, when you understand that it's okay to say, you know what, it's not for me. Don't go talk about it. Just say it's not for me. And I'm gonna move forward. And close your ears, because people will talk. And I've learned that, you know what, people will talk, but you ain't gotta listen. And so I tell you to close your ears to a lot of things that are being said, a lot of things that have been done. And so what you do is you determine today. I'm talking to somebody today. You determine today if you want family. You determine today if you want to be happy. And you write down what will make you happy. You write down those key things that will make you happy. And like Ricardo say, get the book. Sometimes, reading some things and some things that will point out to you, what is effective living. The only thing that we can do is give you some pointers and some avenues to get you started. But at the end of the day, you have to, create your own, and you're going to have to do it, the way that you know how to do it. The way you know how to do it.
That is so good. You said, I love it. You said, listen, they're going to talk, but you don't got to listen. Come on. They can talk, but you don't have to listen. And that is so true. That's before we bring our talk to an end, let's talk about policing our communities, policing the family dynamics. And what I mean by policing, a healthy community have good belief systems. The better the community, the better the police. And what I mean by that is crime is down, and the monitoring of wrong behaviors are easily identified and labeled. In other words, they know where the pedophiles are, they know where the drug dealers are, they know where, hey, listen, they know, he's been arrested 4 times for internal theft. And if you live in this community, we gonna mark you, okay? Policing is necessary because it allows you to know that everyone around you ain't good.
Absolutely.
Right? Everybody around you don't mean you well. Now, in your view, I mean, the role of policing in family, meaning, Cain killed Abel. Obviously, there was no policing there. So he thought automatically, because that's my brother, he would never do that to me. And there are people like that, because that's my church member, they will never do that to me. Oh, me and that lady worked out at the gym for years. She'll never do that to me. But have you been policing and doing an assessment on the community that you're building and looking at characteristics that is unhealthy? Because we have a discerner inside of us called the Holy Spirit. And he said he will lead us into all truth. And if you are living, you should be learning to sense. Not every smile is a grace smile is an anointed smile. Some smiles are deception. Some smiles come to harm. Some smiles come to hurt. And so policing the community, that's a new term. I need you know, somebody wants the link to the book. Let me tell you something. Get the book right here, ricardomiller.com. And you get your signed copy. If you go to ricardomiller.com, I will sign that bad boy and get it out to you today. Okay? So make sure you get your copy of the book. I promise you it will bless you. But Lola, let's talk about that. Policing and becoming better at policing. Because, you know, obviously there's always room for learning and growing. And even in good communities, mistakes happen. And we all just have to accept some things will happen that is beyond our control. But I tell you, my mom told me, you know, repetitive behaviors that are wrong starts to be needing to be looked at. And what is it about you that is embracing repetitive behavior that's wrong? Because one time anybody can have a mistake happen or something wrong happen. But at some point, you got to start studying behaviors. And that's what I love about policing. You know, you start tracking. And so what's your view on tracking the behaviors of the community in a healthy way? Like what you've noticed, I have to move crime around here is too high. I have to move the assaults around here. I have to move the behavior, the attitude does not connect with who I am. And I like what you said. You got to know how to move on. So what's your view?
You know what, Ricardo, again, what I've learned is that, you know, I had to do some self-check within myself. Once I was delivered, I dealt with depression and anxiety really bad. Once I was delivered from that, my finances got delivered. Everybody around me got delivered. You know what I'm saying? You know, so what I mean is that, you know, I had to determine, you know, what was happening, what I needed to move forward. And so now to be productive. Now, let me tell you something. Sometimes people are in your life to challenge you.
Yep.
You got to know the difference between being challenged and, you know, being stuck. And so some people, you know, you saying that, you know, oh, she just, you know, she always down on me. She always, you know, no, some people are there to push you, and they ain't always nice when they're doing the push. Yeah. You know, some people were destined to be in your life to get you to that next point. And it's not always going to be peaceful, but you got to know the difference between the two. So there are those that are in your life that got you stuck. They got you stuck mentally, emotionally, you know. And so what you have to determine is this. You know what? I need to know how to just break free and move forward. It's not going to happen. You can't do it by yourself. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
That's why counseling is necessary. That's why coaches are necessary. You know, find you a coach. You know, find you a life coach. Find you someone that can help you. You know, let's link together. Find you, like I said, nonprofits. Find you somebody that can minister to you, pray for you, because you can't do it by yourself. You're going to need community. I'm telling you right now, you ain't gonna be able to do it by yourself, because a lot of us don't have the strength to say no. Some of us don't have the strength to just move forward. But all I tell you on today is this: check your environment right now. Before I leave today, let me tell you, do an environment check.
Yep.
And see what do I need to eliminate every year, Ricardo. Every year I go down the list of my phone every year, and I say, was this a benefit? That's all delete. I even do it on my Facebook. I do it with my social media. I'm like, you taking up too much. You taking up some space that needs to be for somebody else. So I'm telling you guys on today, you better live your best life. You don't know when the day or the hour is going to come. And if you need somebody to get, you know, you need some help. Here you got a coach right here. Ricardo, start with him, you know, get some, I know he has some avenues, some things that he can, you know, direct you guys to. Read some of his stuff, go on his, you know. So what I'm saying is that you got to start somewhere. And that start is to is within you. Know that you are important to yourself. You got to know that you're important to yourself before you can, you know, before anybody else gonna see that you're important. But I'm just here to tell you this. It's not gonna be easy. Let me tell you, it's okay. It's not easy. When people walk away, it's not easy. When people do wrong to you, it's not easy. But you're gonna have to seek help, and it's in your environment. It's in your, like I said, you just got to do an environment check, and that's what I
Wow.
want you to do today. Okay.
Wow. You've got to do an environment check. Wow. Look, man, that was so good. That's so good. I'm gonna have to challenge you. You're gonna have to give us a closing thought. Just once again, that was so great. I will still push you again to do that. But ladies and gentlemen, she mentioned we have a great book. It's called Effective Living, and it really helps you to understand the need to capture the what I call the five foundational F. That's faith, family, finance, fitness, and fun. You know what I'm saying? You need family, and family, as we just mentioned, you can create the family that you need to live life effectively. As she just mentioned, you can't do this alone. And the greater the assignment on your life, the more people you're going to need in your life. That's a word for someone. The greater the assignment on your life, the more people you're going to need in your life. But some people have not learned how to identify the people that they need. And that's where you may need a coach. Maybe you may need to, because you've been burnt, scarred, or taken advantage of by a number of people over the years, that you have a bad vibe when it comes to people. Your trust issue is really, really low. Okay? Now, the reality of it is, but you have a great call on your life. And you know that you're destined for more, but you can't get to that more if you have a trust issue. If you have a people's issue, get help. Get a therapist, get a counselor, get a coach, but tell yourself, I refuse to live this life not discovering what I'm supposed to discover to get to where I belong. I love what Lola said. Listen, own your space, examine where you are, learn to love you. Come on, you're on a journey. You're on a journey to construct the vision that God has placed within your heart that needs to be accomplished. The scripture says, where there is no vision, the people perish. So you want to construct the vision. You want vision to be in your life to help you to be able to get up in the morning and say, I have a reason to live. But in addition to having a reason to live, there are people you're going to have to learn how to live alongside of. And here's the deal. If you haven't been doing well with that up to this point, chances are you're going to find yourself not being able to produce the fruits that you're supposed to produce in your lifetime. And that's going to bring you to a place where you may end up finding yourself like that talented one person with a talent who did not use his talent well, only to say you wicked and slowful. You had gift that you were supposed to give humanity, but you didn't do anything with it. Don't do that, because someone did you wrong. You live long enough, someone is going to do you wrong. I had a pastor friend of mine years ago. He said, man, listen, someone's going to kick you. Someone's going to betray you. Somebody is going to do you wrong. The question is, will you develop yourself enough to guard your heart? Will you set yourself up to ensure that you're not so burnt? You're not so overtaken by that you're no longer good to humanity. You're still here. Your existence is an indication that God still has a plan for you. So Lola, our viewing audience need to find out how they can get in contact with you and how they can follow your platform, and give them our closing thoughts for me, please.
Absolutely. I'm actually on Facebook as Lula Ellis, and I do have Lula Carr Facebook page as well. I use Lula Carr more so than anything. And connected to that is a prayer room. You know, if you follow me on that, you'll be connected to a prayer room that I have. And then also I am on Instagram. Capital L at CARR. And then I actually, I don't know if you guys heard of Clubhouse. That's another platform that I just got on actually, and that's a benefit as well. In my Clubhouse, but guys, you can find me on there at Dimples too. And then my Instagram that's connected to my Clubhouse is Lula and the number 4 5 times. So there's Lula 4. And so I also have a radio show on e4unetwork.com. And so I always have a lot of people come on, and we just talk about different topics. It's multicultural and diversity, so you just never know what you're going to get on that show. So if you follow me on one, you'll know all about all the others. I promise you. And I again want to thank Ricardo for this platform. Like, oh my God, like you started off like awesome. You pumped me up. But what I want to say to you today, and it's in closing remarks. Today is April the 20th. This is the beginning of a new season for you. Everything that you've gone through, let's wipe that out right now. I want you to start right today. I want you to start writing down the things that you need for yourself and your family. I want you to know that look in your surroundings. What do I need to do in my surroundings? Even if your job, some of y'all need to change jobs.
Yeah.
That job has been draining you. And, so what I'm saying is that make you a list. Yeah. And remember this, nothing will move or nothing will change until you move and until you change. You guys be blessed.
Wow. That is so good. Lula, thank you so much. Thank you for joining us this morning. Ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and have an amazing day. It's April 20th, and the truth is, man, these days are going. They're not slowing down for anybody. And I know when you began this year, you said this is going to be your year. Well, go for it and work it until you make it. Let's all do what we got to do today to make sure God is glorified with our actions. Go get the book. Get the book, Effective Living, at ricardomiller.com. You guys have a phenomenal day. Listen, Miss Ellis, you have been such a blessing to my viewing audience. We're going to have to do this again.
Awesome. Yes. I'm here for you. Anytime.
Thank you. Well, you guys have a phenomenal day, guys. Bye-bye.
Have a good day.